Welcome to another episode of AhHa Moments. My name is Alban, and I am here with my two partners, Hans Nelson and Kevin Schaefer.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Episode 10. It's been a minute.
Double digits.
We're almost halfway there.
Halfway to what?
21.
Oh, that's right. Was that the number?
That's the number to be in the top 1% of all podcasts.
Wow, it's so positive already, Kevin.
Well, our favorite number is 11. What are we going to do for episode 11?
Who knows?
Okay.
Something special, I'm
special
sure.
and mysterious.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're excited
Can't
to
wait.
be here. We're going to talk today about bubbles. And as the theme always goes, it doesn't mean necessarily the actual thing. It's just an alliteration or an analogy for something.
I thought we were talking about Michael Jackson's monkey.
Oh, was that what it was named?
Yeah.
No way. That may be Kevin's childhood dog. Kevin, it's been too long since you've complained, and back by popular demand, we would love to hear what has been bothering you.
It's been hours since I've had a complaint.
I was going to say, to be fair, it hasn't been that long. Just on mic.
This time, I was at a nice restaurant the other day. I'm getting a little tired of the overly cutesy bathroom signs. You know what I'm talking about? You need to go to the restroom. All of a sudden, you have to solve some whimsical riddle to know which side you like. What happened to M and W? Now it's like, am I a pine corn, an acorn? I don't know. Am I a spoon? Am I a fork? You're sitting there for right. I don't know the answer to fire or ice. Like I don't know which door to go into.
I didn't know Naperville got so creative with their restaurants and their restroom signs.
The Olive
Cheesecake
Garden
Factory is this?
right.
I have found myself in moments going, am I an hombre? Like, which one am I? I don't know which one to go in.
I believe you're running out of gripes.
Yeah. No, you'd be surprised. I will bring up, I am surveyed out, and I think it's getting worse. I know you brought this up before. You touch down on a plane, it's like, how did we do? And sometimes I'm like, not that great, nothing happens. It was not a great flight, but literally everything I touch now is a survey.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin was thinking we should survey the surveys.
Surveys to take the surveys.
Yeah.
I got asked if I liked my Starbucks app today. And I accidentally clicked yes, and then it wanted me to give a score. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I keep saying no to apps because the option would be like, not now. Can we just do a not now option? We're here to talk about bubbles, but before we do, I wanted to catch us up on a couple things.
There's some stuff that's been going on.
There's some things that have been going on. Well, first of all, the last two guests that have come through our door have both since left and both received or are receiving awards. So I don't know if it's related to our podcast, but there seems to be a trend here, which I'm very excited for our guest today, which we'll introduce soon. So real quick, Kent Doughton, who was here, he received a Lifetime Achievement Award from Big Shoulders.
Big Shoulders, which is a tremendous charity that we give to as well. That was nice to see.
Very well deserved for all the work
Very
he's
well
been doing
deserved for the work that he's been doing. And then we had our sailor friend Brian, who just this past 2 weeks sent. I saw this article. He did the race from Sydney to Auckland, and if you remember, Brian is all about perfection and improvement, 1% at a time. I guess the last world record from Sydney to Auckland was set by this team. It was 5 days, 3 hours, and 37 minutes. And 57 seconds. Brian and team beat it by more than 50%, which is insane. He set the world record at 2 days, 7 hours, 10 minutes, and 50 seconds.
Well, I got to tell
cow.
Brian, if he could do that, he should have just broken it by a couple hours and then keep breaking it every time he does the race.
That is actually true. Just keep resetting the record. I don't think he wants to go to the galas that are involved after.
Got it. Okay.
Because then it comes with awards. Another thing that happened, which I'm very excited about, I became an uncle this weekend again.
Congratulations.
Unreal. Very cute kid.
Very cute kid. I'm excited to shout out to Lucy Hatija Mehmeti. She got my mom's first name as her middle name, which is a great ode. She's a cutie. My family is all men. We finally have a girl. We're excited. I've never seen a pink nursery. It's absolutely adorable. Guys do not have these things. Like, it is the cutest thing I've ever seen. But welcome Lucy to the family.
Welcome, Lucy, and congratulations to Luke and Bridget, the parents, on their new arrival.
Yeah.
And Kevin and I, saw pictures, and we wanted to make fun of you, like, hey, protect the head. But you had a really firm grip on that.
Thank you. I've
You've
been
held
practicing.
a burrito before, I think.
I've been practicing with all of your kids for a long time. So I am fully trained to how to hold a baby. I know, Hans, you were thinking about your kid memories.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a gripe, too. Maybe even better than Kevin's. But, there's a lot of things. People have told me I'm childlike. But honestly, there's a lot of things that I really enjoyed as a child that you just can't do as an adult anymore, or you look weird. or
Like
look like
what?
a creep. You know, like I'm a big fan of like blue slushies, you know, or like swinging on a swing, which is great. Like if you have little kids, you can go do that and it's kind of fun. But if you just did that on your own, you'd have some looks, you know what I mean?
That's
That are
true.
weird.
And one of my favorite things to do is like chasing around people that are like, they're blowing bubbles and then you go pop them. Like everybody loves that, right? Like if they did that at the United Center during a Bulls game, it would be awesome. I mean, it would be chaos, but it would be so fun, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
so
true.
that's, you know, I thought it was a nice transition into our bubble conversation today. Are we in a bubble or aren't we?
Are we in a bubble or not? I have to tell you, I actually just remember this. In Hermosa Beach, there's a guy, you were just there, who sits on the pier and he's got this rope that he dips at night when the sun is setting and like super soft wind. He creates bubbles the size of humans. I'm not kidding. It is incredible. And the kids just chase them down the pier. It is the most amazing thing.
So fun. I say we bring this back. All right?
I
We're going
say-
to chase bubbles around.
We are going to chase bubbles around. We're here to talk about bubbles and to talk about, are we in a tech bubble or an AI bubble? But before we do, we have someone very special here today.
I am very excited about our guest that's here with us today. Northern Trust has been a tremendous client of ours since April of 2018, which, I mean, we began as a company not far before that.
Yeah.
And they were the first really big company to take a chance on us. And Northern Trust is such an impressive company. And for those of you not in Chicago, it's been around since August 12th of 1889. It's 136
Incredible.
years. That is a
The odds of
long
making it
time.
that long are insane.
And it was started in a one-room office in the Rookery, which is a very famous building in Chicago, which is still standing as well, which is amazing. And I just think of the longevity of an organization like that, right? It's one of the largest banking institutions in the U.S. They cater corporations, institutional investors, ultra-high net worth individuals, but everybody in Chicago knows Northern Trust.
Absolutely.
And now they're in one of the more kind of famous red buildings overlooking the lake in Chicago. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce our guest today, Lenee Wolf. She is currently the SVP, Chief Administrative Officer. She's been with Northern Trust for 18 years, have held many titles there. And I think she's a perfect person to have this conversation with because over her career, she's been able to take on new challenges by being adaptable, by being hardworking, by being persistent, like everything we represent as a firm. So, Lenee, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I
Welcome to the
appreciate it.
podcast.
Welcome to the
I'm
podcast. We're
excited.
very happy to have you. You've been in our office several times, but this is the first time we said, let's put a mic in front of you and let you go.
Watch out.
If you wouldn't mind, we ask all of our guests, give me a 90-second to 2-minute introduction to you, your career, the paths it's taken, and kind of what you're doing in your day-to-day.
Sure. So I grew up in Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, went to the University of Iowa. My handle is Iowa Girl for almost everything, including my license plate.
I love that.
When I graduated from Iowa, I had a couple job offers in Iowa, and I said to my dad, I said, well, what do you think? And he goes, if you don't go now, you'll never go. You'll end up like me, living 2 blocks from the house I grew up in.
Wow.
And so I came to Chicago really, really hoping I could work for the Chicago Cubs. I interviewed. They weren't going to pay me anything. They wanted me for free as an intern. And then I kind of fell into banking. And I have done everything from finance to HR to loan management to L&D to building branches, determining where branches should be closed or relocated, and determining who we should merge with. And then I've been with, as you said, Northern Trust for 18 years. And when I started there was the whole focus of what I was going to be doing was how to move more work from Chicago to our offices in India. Because they couldn't figure out how to break up jobs and send portions of them over to India. But then the highlight of my career was last year I got to spend 6 months as the CTO in India.
Oh my
Amazing.
goodness.
Of course,
Wow.
I am not a technologist, but I love the fact I was a CTO for 6 months.
How was that experience?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Absolutely amazing. Scared to death because I went completely by myself, but I thoroughly enjoyed every minute.
There's many reasons Northern Trust is where it is today and you are where you are, and it's because you probably even decided, you're like, I'll do it, which most people would be like, I'm scared, I think I'll let someone else do it. Good for you to jump in there.
Yeah, my boss and I, Tom South, the CIO, we talked about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I think you'd be the perfect person." And as it got closer, he's like, "I don't think I want you to go." And I'm like, "That's only because I do everything for
He
you."
realized what was going to happen next. That's how we
we-
feel about Kevin.
We were very happy for you and having that opportunity, but we're very grateful to have you back.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Welcome
back.
Thank
No,
you.
we are.
Glad to be back.
I actually, given in your position, I don't think there's a better person to help have this conversation with. And we're going to talk today about, are we in an AI bubble? Before we talk about the AI bubble, Hans, I feel like as the more senior person of our group here, would you like to tell us about just bubbles in general that we've experienced in the past?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think I was alive for what was considered the first asset bubble, but in 1636 in Holland, I think most people are familiar, but there was a tulip bubble.
Yeah.
So somehow the asset prices for tulip bulbs went up like 2,000% in 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
this is wild. At one point, tulip bulbs were selling for more than the average house in Holland.
That's insane.
It's either
Right.
a really
crazy.
cheap house or a really expensive flower.
Isn't that crazy? And you think about that, and Lenee in our pre-production meeting, we were talking about this, but you saw people go crazy over toilet paper and stuff from COVID, right?
Right.
So you don't know what caused this, but all of a sudden, I guess everybody needed tulips. And then almost overnight, they went down 99%. As you can imagine, I'm sure that wrecked both the economy and anybody that tried to get in and speculate, right? And so you just wonder, right? I have lived through, as you mentioned, and even kind of worked through, right, the dot-com bubble, the housing crisis, the mortgage crisis bubble. I had to manage that process. So we've seen these things over time. And the question is, and we get this all the time, and this is not going to be a podcast where we're going to say, we're definitely an AI bubble, like everybody be scared.
Right. Absolutely not.
It's not the way we operate.
Because
right?
we don't know. And unless you guys know any better, we genuinely don't know what happens in these economic environments. Every time we progress, every time a bubble has happened, the government has stepped in and put some regulations in place to try to defend against it. And then two, the economy is always changing and there are new factors every single day, right? Things that we haven't done in the past. I guess, Kevin and Lenee, do you think we're in a bubble?
I don't. And here's why. I saw a report the other day, and I thought it was somewhat interesting. Is we are certainly spending as an economy right now a lot of money on AI, right? Building out infrastructure, et cetera. But if you take a look at all the big innovations throughout history, right, a lot of money has been spent on that. Whether it's the railroads and building that network out, whether it's telecom and building out that network. If you take a look at a percentage of GDP that we're spending on AI versus those other transformative technologies, right, we're actually way below where those were. And you'll see that the boom, right, was much bigger, right? It's only about to come and what we're about to see.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't disagree. Lenee, what's your opinion on this?
No, I would completely agree. I think this is just another innovation that we're all learning and going to adapt to, and it'll become common.
Yeah.
It won't really be a big bubble that'll burst at some point in time.
Interesting. So you work for a large financial services institution, right? You guys are all about safety and de-risk. So what are some of the things that Northern Trust is doing to make sure that they'll be resilient if there happens to be a bubble?
Yeah, good question. So actually, I think Northern Trust is a little bit late to the game from an AI perspective because we are a very conservative organization. We don't want to be the first. We don't mind being second or third. So we're letting someone else make the mistakes. And so because of that, we have already put into all of our governance and all of the various controls we want to have in case anybody does something. But we're using it primarily now to just start to figure out what can we do more efficiently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I think it's the right play, and I don't blame you. I think AI in the market, right, to the direct consumer. By the way, of all the utilities that have been created, AI being similar to electricity in the sense of it's going to impact everybody. It's the first one that the average consumer has access to it. Like electricity took a long time to put it out there, right?
Yes.
Of all the other innovations, this is the first one. So I think when it comes to the enterprise, you actually should be careful, right? Because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And every day we find innovation in AI. We also find out some of its vulnerabilities and or work slop and or security issues where it doesn't make sense for everybody to jump in completely, head first and go to full AI. I have to add one more piece that I thought was interesting from Kevin. I went to Harvard once. I don't know if you knew this or not. I learned this at Harvard.
You visited.
Did you buy a T-shirt? What was
Similar to our University of Chicago experience. No, I went to visit my brother who was attending, and David Moss, who's one of the world-renowned economists, was talking about, this was right before COVID, and COVID was just getting ready to tick. And he sat there and was talking about how economists in their existence have never been really good at predicting long-term markets or what's going to happen. And he said, not in a bad way, but he said every time we move forward, new variables are introduced. So for example, COVID it wasn't a bubble, but it was a complete market shift. There was a huge drawback, and then all of a sudden this crazy overcorrection. And he said, for the first time ever during that time, economists have never seen an economy where supply is going to be the problem, not the demand, right? So the demand was there, but they'd never seen anything like that.
Right.
I similarly think where we are with AI today, there are metrics that we just have never seen in the past before. Power being one of them, right? And its shortage and or need for it, but as well as adaptability and bringing it into organization. But I do think you're approaching it the right way from a start small. Let someone else make mistakes. As we look at this power issue, and as we look at where things are headed, what are you seeing outside of Northern Trust that you guys look at from a sense of who do you observe as like leaders in it and say, hey, they're making good decisions or bad decisions, and where do you see it playing well or not playing well?
So right now, I would say we're very close to all the app dev activities that are taking place. That's what we're looking at the most. That's our first kind of toe into the pond, is looking to see what elements from an app dev perspective AI can help us, whether it is creating patterns and helping us with the internal developed software in a faster, quicker way. That's the first point that we're looking at. And we're looking at our competitors.
Love that.
Yeah.
Lenee, I have a question too. So the first thing I said in my introduction of you is your ability to adapt.
Yes.
And we are in very much a time period where people are going to have to adapt at a very quick pace. Either you're going to adapt or you're going to be forced to adapt, right? And I think you've been such a tremendous leader in this place because, one, you're be able to adapt yourself, but then you also lead other teams. Can you walk through, like, where did you get like that skill set, one, and what are you planning on doing in this new environment as AI is being introduced?
So when I was at the University of Iowa, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do because I like to do so many different things that I decided to interview people that had the jobs I wanted. And I did like 10 different jobs, interviewed with the individuals, and came back and said, well, if I want to do all of those things, what skills do I need? And so it was managing, communicating, being creative. And that is how I've focused my career, is where do I get to play with those skills the most, because that's where I think my strengths are. And that's part of the reason why I think I was chosen to go to AhHa, is that I was going to be talking about strategy and talking about how to be adaptable, all the things that you have to be able to emulate. So that's kind of how I have always had my career. What I'm doing right now is being a leader of change, which I think is really important whenever there is any kind of new tool you're supposed to try and adopt. I've been playing around with it and telling everybody, well, this is what I did with AI. This is, like sometimes it's crazy pictures of me sitting at a desk with, fish swimming around because I'm underwater, things like that, just to show the creativity that you can have and how the tool might help you.
I think what sets you apart is there are people that follow what's happening in the world, and there are people that jump in and define what's going to happen in their world. And I think apparently you picked this up at a very young age. You're one that's like, I'm not going to follow what's happening. I'm going to jump in and set the future of where I and the organization is going, which is a testament to your career and Northern Trust.
2 younger sisters that got away with a lot more than I did, because I was the one jumping in all the time.
I think the theme as we've had like different guests here, and it has been this ability to adapt, to influence the change, and to ultimately define the future. And that's who we think will set the future and win this AI race. Not just the AI race. AI is just another tool. We'll have other innovations in the future. Right. But that's who we think the adaptability portion is unreal.
So the change is really important, but we talk about being human enabled, right? And human powered. So how do you get your team excited about not being replaced, but now having this new technology available to assist them to even be better in their jobs?
So it's a combination of what I would call emotional intelligence, asking them what they think their skills are, where do they think they would find some relief in their day that they might be able to use AI, some of the mundane type activities. I think also we, within our team, do a lot of sharing of ideas, and so there's no dumb idea. And so we're like, hey, I tried that, didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, but this worked, and here's how it was helpful. So a lot in my team, it's a lot around risk and control, a lot around double checking on metrics and things like that. So we've found ways that we can use agents to help us.
That's amazing.
I like that.
There's the other piece, experimentation, right?
Right.
And if you're not failing in some of this, you're probably not doing enough to see
I don't
what
think
works.
you're testing the boundaries at that point. You're not trying hard enough.
And that, which is really incredible to do at such a regulated environment, right? Where you guys really do live within a ton of constraints. So that's incredible of you guys. I think, where do you see next year or two from where you are going to invest your own personal time in area, and specifically in the AI area?
I really want to figure out how I can have an agent who does a lot more tracking of my day-to-day stuff for me, right? I really would love to have a mini administrative assistant kind of agent who's going to my meetings, getting my notes for me, putting my to-do list together, not only for me, but then to share it with my team. It's like, here's the things that we have for deliverables.
Love it.
I think that would be extremely helpful across the board in our organization. So that's one that I want to play around with first.
I did see Sam Altman saying it would be wild if OpenAI, being the AI company, if it's not ran by an AI CEO one day, right? Which is, I actually would love to find twins of us, right? Similar to what you're saying, where it is observing and helping eliminate some of the rudimentary stuff and tasks we don't want to do, and interact with others as well.
Kevin, interesting article you brought up, and I didn't read it, but I know from studying history and everything that eventually the railroad bubble did pop, telecom bubble did pop, right? Those organizations weren't profitable for a while, and yet like a decade later, they created this huge uplift. So do you believe that we are going to get to a point where maybe we're overpriced in the short term, but underpriced a decade later? Or do you think that the breakthroughs that AI can create are just going to have us on this upward trajectory for a while?
I truly believe we are sitting on the greatest unlock of human productivity, right? If you think about even some of the examples you were just walking through, the amount of time that we spend doing things like tracking, right, or doing the mundane tasks, if you have someone or something, an agent that you can hand that off to, it reminds me of what we were talking about a little bit ago, right? We've always had this evolution. There used to be people walking down the street, lighting the lampposts with light every night.
Absolutely.
Right? We don't have that anymore, right? And we still have plenty of jobs.
That's a good thing.
Right? And it's a wonderful thing,
I used to call that the good old days.
It was Hans's college job.
No, you're absolutely right. When the Wright brothers took flight, people who were in transportation, they all were terrified, like, what's going to happen to our jobs? Mm-hmm. Well, it created airports, which have restaurants, which have flight crews, which have people who build airplanes, which have, I think we couldn't be living at a better and more exciting time of innovation as it stands. I was looking at my niece who's born. I'm like, she's going to see some stuff, right? It's going to be incredible.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be great. And I think the funny thing that we find now, too, is a lot of our clients, anyway, I'd love to get your take, Lenee, are they have fatigue around the hype. They have fatigue around failure. And a lot of firms then will say, well, we shouldn't do it. We'll wait until somebody does it right or wrong, and then we'll be a fast follower, right? So how do you get past the hype cycle? How do you get past the fatigue of 95% failure rate based on the MIT study to really find true value for your organization?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of experimentation, but we're in an analysis paralysis point right now, too. It's like, do you want to go down that path until you know exactly how much you might save or how much you're going to benefit from it, or what the productivity play is going to be? And so it's kind of like we have to take that jump. And we have not done that enough yet to really understand where the potential is. But I do feel that when I look across Northern Trust, we being a relatively conservative organization, we're still using fax machines. Mm-hmm. There's some things like that simple, low-hanging fruit that can have a big impact in a short period of time.
And that's the case, by the way, in many industries still, which I think the other case, I know that we're not in a bubble. I keep hanging out with executives who are like, yeah, we're thinking about AI. And they're in charge of mass hospital systems, mass different types of organizations. They're like, we're just thinking about them. I think we're barely scratching the surface, honestly.
100% agree. And I think where we try to step in and help companies to understand that there are practical solutions we can put in place that have positive financial ramifications on organizations. Mm-hmm. So instead of being theoretical, I think there was that line, right? They want payback in months, not mythology. So having these theoretical conversations, instead of saying, I have this tool that I've developed that's a silver bullet. Like if that existed, that'd be $1 trillion company on the market cap, right? It's just not there. So how do you start really small? I'd love to get your take, Alban, because you've always been kind of at the forefront of this, like the small language model as opposed to the large language model kind of conversation.
Yeah, good question. I think, so the large language models are trained on very large sets of data. And when you go train on large sets of data, there's good and bad information out there. We're big fans of, hey, train it on your data. I do think as we progress, by the way, over the next 2 to 5 years, organizations that invest in data that's very special to them and train the models with them, those are going to be the most effective with AI.
Yeah.
And to eliminate where, have you seen that?
We are getting ourselves really organized around our data. That is one of our strategies for the next year. So
Yeah.
I completely agree.
And it used to be where it would take years to get some data from different disparate systems. AI makes it so much simpler now to bring completely systems that have never talked to each other together and put in a small learning model. I think that's going to be the greatest unlock. I actually think AGI will be solved by a bunch of small language models calling each other.
I like that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you think about Northern Trust, there's not one person that's an expert in everything, but if you put all of you together, that's Northern Trust.
Right.
And same here and same most organizations. I think it'll be small learning models that'll solve it.
You had mentioned something earlier too, and Lenee, I'd love to get your take on this, but it's the first big technological advancement that's available to the consumer, right? Like if you think about computers, that was used by organizations first. If you think about like the internet, that was first. This is the first one that's been used by humans first, and now it's being introduced to the enterprise, which makes me believe that the best ideas will come from kind of the line workers that are ones that are doing the work all the time. So have you done anything or thought through how you're going to collect great ideas from kind of the lowest level individuals on your team as opposed to having a top-down approach to it that might be backwards?
So we've already set up, a repository for ideas. We have like weekly get-togethers around what is the best question you've asked your co-pilot today and things like that. We're doing a whole communication plan around it. There's some that are across the entire enterprise and some that are very siloed with each business group because you can gain something with being close to your own business to understand how someone else is using it. But yeah, absolutely, we're trying to capture it all now.
I'll take it on a lighthearted note. I see a ton of videos of robots doing amazing things, AI robots. Have you guys seen the opposite where they show them when they're not rehearsed what these robots do?
I love it. It's one of my favorite.
They
videos.
run into mirrors. They'll kick things. It just goes to show we're not as close to that.
They get
world.
really mad at mirrors because they think it's a competition.
They think it's a competition.
This is my job.
It is incredible. But if I was pushing AI and if I was pushing automation, I would do exactly what everyone in San Francisco. I'd be like, we're there. We're almost there because you have to push the boundaries to get where we need to get to.
And what I'd like to say to the robots listening, I think you're doing a great job.
I think you're doing a great job. Keep kicking the mirrors.
Can they figure out what bathroom to go into is the question.
I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, I am too. Speaking of thankfulness, we're almost in thankful season.
I love Thanksgiving so much. My favorite holiday.
My favorite holiday for sure.
Oh.
As we get, Kevin, I know this will be very hard for you, but maybe we.
Yeah, poor thing.
This is. Don't worry, he gets all the accolades. He's great. Let's go around. What are we thankful for this season?
I'll start with that introduction. I'm extremely, of course, thankful for my beautiful family, my friends, and the ability to work with not only the Inspire 11 team we have, but also wonderful clients like Northern Trust as well. I'll also say I'm really thankful after this conversation. I'm really thankful to be living in the era that we are living in right now, right? To be able to experience these changes and to be able to help solve the problems that are in front of us. It's just a wonderful time to be able to be alive.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
That was really good.
That was very good, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to double down, and I'll be specific to Northern Trust and to Lenee. Clients put a lot of trust in us, and it's not easy, right? Like there's always the joke, you don't get fired for hiring, pick a bigger firm, right? And when Northern Trust hired us, I'll tell a quick story. We were a complete and utter unknown, and we met with an individual there that wanted to work with us. And she literally found like a loophole through procurement to get us in, right? Which was, you are a UI, UX security firm, because we were doing frictionless authentication.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because that's what she wanted to do to get us in. She just really believed in our message, our values, how we were going to operate within her environment. And we know that we work with now thousands of clients on a daily basis. And for them to put their trust in us and for us to get positive feedback on our people makes me very grateful every day.
I think that's those are the cowboys in organizations that keep innovation and everything moving forward that makes them the future organizations, right? The leaders. Lenee, I'll go next, and then you can go. Okay. I think on the personal side, couldn't be more grateful to be an uncle to a brand new baby to our family, a baby girl at that. So welcome, Lucy. On the professional side, to what you both said, very grateful for our clients, very grateful for trusted relationships and what we get to work on. And honestly, very grateful to what you said, that we get to live and we get to solve AI, right? I wake up every day excited on what are we going to do in this new innovation world, and I think we are blessed to get to do it.
Yeah.
Lenee?
So I will say on the personal side, my daughter recently got a new job thanks to ChatGPT helping us do her resume. So very excited that she's got a new job and she's going to be in a much better place. Professionally, I agree with everything you guys have said, but I think the thing that excites me the most is that I love what I do. And I think you guys all do too, because of what you get to interact with individuals, companies, but even at Northern Trust, the fact that I get to work with some amazing people who are really, really super, super smart, and I just get to go along for the ride.
Well, we are glad we get to work with you and all of those people. It's absolutely incredible. Hans, you want to take us home?
I can take us home, but I want to ask you a question. Do they celebrate Thanksgiving in the Balkans?
They do not.
Okay.
However, I think it's become part of the culture because of us.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
You personally?
Because I know you enjoyed your time in India, but we are the #1 podcast in the Balkans.
Okay.
Yeah. So congratulations to you.
We may, get
Don't fact check that. Just go.
Please do not. Just run it. I thought this was a great episode. Episode 10. Can't wait to come back for 11.
Thank you for taking the time to come and be here. We absolutely appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we're
So
looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. And so for those of you, listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Smash that like button.
Like button, 5 stars, 5 stars. We won't survey you.
0 surveys. If they survey you, it's not us. Thank you for joining. Everybody. We'll see you at the next episode.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.